Thank you. Okay, so here's the theme of today. Very simple, very exciting. We're really happy about this. Carolyn and I worked on it a little bit yesterday, and it's just the ease of it. We're just very happy. So activities abroad to your students, and particularly is Google Classroom. Okay, I do not know if this works for other environments. I've asked GeoGebra, and I'm waiting for their answer. But this is specifically for Google Classroom. Okay, so here's what we want to do today. We want to give you a little tour of the GeoGebra main page. We want to learn how to find ready-made resources in GeoGebra. We want to learn how to easily turn a GeoGebra activity, any GeoGebra activity, into Google Classroom assignment. And then to invite you to participate and collaborate in a DDSB GeoGebra group that we have done. And of course, like always, to have fun in the process, because otherwise, what's the point? Okay, so if you have created a GeoGebra account, you will arrive at a page like this. If you haven't, don't worry. When you do, it will look like this. So I'm going to give you a quick tour of this page. The purpose of today is not to go into the nuts and bolts of GeoGebra. GeoGebra, and I'm not exaggerating, is a universe. It has a lot of resources. It's amazing. But today we're very narrow in what we want to do. So I'm just going to give you a quick tour, and then we're going to get to what we want to get quickly. So what you have here, of course, is the GeoGebra. You have here your identification. I have my A for Alfredo, and then I have other stuff here, right? Here in this waffle, I have some of the tools from GeoGebra. GeoGebra is at the core amazingly powerful graphing calculator. So it has a geometry tool that is just like, or in my opinion, a bit better than a Geometry Sketchpad in its day, a graphing calculator, a 3D calculator that there's nothing like it. There's absolutely nothing like it. It's phenomenal. CAS calculator, a scientific calculator, et cetera, et cetera. You can explore these at your convenience. So that's the waffle. Here, there's apps and more apps that are specific for certain things. There's already going to see some resources. So this is the main page. If you go to the news feed, if you want to, you'll see what's happening and what's happening in the GeoGebra world. People are posting new things, creating new things. GeoGebra was the first worldwide community of mathematicians. And so this is free, has always been free, is open concept, and therefore there's contributions from people all over the world. So when I go on the new feed this morning, for example, 2 days ago, we see some resources. And there's, for example, the GeoGebra team in Germany publishing stuff, right? Worldwide. And there's all kinds of things that I can come and see, fantastic things, okay? That's the resource, the news feed. The next one is the resources. Oh my God, this is where we can go crazy. We're not gonna go crazy, but there's a lot of resources here, and they have organized them in a variety of ways. We're going to try to make sense of it for you today because it's easy to kind of be overwhelmed. One way they did this is kind of cool. If you look at this little map, we have, let's say we want to explore a resource in geometry. So here's Candida. We're admitting her into the room. So when I went to resources and I opened these, let me just go back here for a moment, resources. These opened up. I can go into geometry, and then look what happens. Oh, from geometry, from the math, geometry, I have a host of other topics. So let's say I'm interested in angles. So I'm going to go to angles. And when I do that, here's my path. I started with math, I'm doing geometry, and anything related to angles is here for me. Tons and tons of what we call applets. Okay, so I'm going to very quickly just explore one applet for about a minute or so, and just to show you what that might look like. So I'm going to click on this applet. Remember this name, Tim Brzezinski. Tim Brzezinski is God in GeoGebra. This man creates GeoGebra stuff in his sleep, and all the stuff he produces is extraordinary. And I'm not exaggerating. So let's take a look at what he's doing. Interact with this applet below for a few minutes, then answer the questions that follow. So we know what this is going. I can show the interior angles or the exterior angles. I'm going to slide and see what happens with the interior angles. Ooh, nice. Cool. Okay, now I'm going to see just the exterior angles. Look at the first, how weakly they were defined, and then I can see what happened. Nice. So you know what? I can have my kids do these. Really, I'm going to change the triangle. I make it this, and now see the interior angles. Good. Well, what if it was a triangle like this? What's happening, right? Very, very cool. So here, there's a few questions. We'll talk about this later. Caroline is going to take you to the part where you can turn this into a task. But I just want you to see what this looks like. Pretty cool. And we found it relatively quickly by going into the resources like we did. So I'm going to go back to the main page. That's one way to get resources. And then if you go to profile, now you see my name, and these are resources that I have either created or identified or added to my list. So these are kind of my resources, right? Stuff that I'm playing with, things that I've done, things that I collected. And in other words, my stuff is here. So it's kind of nice. I can see this. I can change my profile. I can look at the ones that I like that are favorites, my timeline, what have I been doing, the people that I follow. Here, if you can, when you go to people, you can find Tim. I strongly advise, if you want, to follow. I do not know why I'm following the German team because my German is limited, but somehow I ended up following them, but I may unfollow them. But there's a number of people who produce stuff. I know nobody better than Tim for our environment. He is just really phenomenal. Okay, and then we have groups. You can access groups here or here. And again, people is the people that are all people that are GeoGebra producing stuff. There's a lot of mathematicians, engineers, high-end people that use this. This goes way, way, way past high school. So very, very powerful. So groups you can ask here, I can access here. And to go to access a group, you can go to join a group with a group code, or you can create a group, okay? We already have created a group for us, and we'll share that with you in a moment. It's here. It's called DDSB Distance Learning Resources. And when I go into this group, we already posted stuff that hopefully will be more digestible for everybody. So I posted one massive resource here, and this resource has over 1,700 applets that include a lot of secondary stuff. And it has geometry, functions, trig, algebra, calculus, statistics, all here. So I'm going to show you very quickly what it looks like. It's kind of a book organized. So if I want to go and see something about calculus, there's here all kinds of limits, all the topics that I want to look at in calculus. Phenomenal. So for example, limits and continuity. I can just go and explore some stuff and see what I like. Fantastic, fantastic, really ridiculously fun. And like these, for example, delta epsilon, we don't do these in high school. This is university stuff, that nomenclature of delta epsilon, but just like that, there's all kinds of other resources there. So that's the tour. That's the welcome from my resources. Okay, and let's say I'm going to pick this one. Okay, so there it is, and I'm going to now do the 3 dots, the snowman, share. Now I have this link. I don't have to copy, I don't have to do anything. I can just go here, Google Classroom. And then this opens up and it's telling me, okay, you want to go to Google Classroom. What class do you want to add this to? How nice, eh? So I'm going to go, okay, this is the class that I want to add it to. So when I did it yesterday this way, I didn't need to have the Google Classroom open, but so I'm going to add it there. Yeah, I can add instructions, right? Can everybody see the screen where
yes.
yeah, so I can add
Right.
instructions here. Okay, play, and I don't know, respond, right? Okay, so I'm going to assign it. And now I'm going to ask you to go to that classroom as students, right? And then see what you will see. So now it tells me here, the assignment has been created. I'm going to open the assignment in Google Classroom. And there it is. So I can see now when I go here, it takes me to this space as a teacher, which is nice, but, and there it is. Okay, so there's some questions there, perfect. So what I want you to do, please, is do me this favor. I want you to go to this class. Yeah, go in Google Classroom and join this class as a student, And then you will see the assignment. Carolyn, anything to add, please? Feel free.
No, nothing to add. What's interesting is the number of ways that you can go about getting into this, because the way that I went in was totally different than the way that you went in, but it ended up at the same place.
Cool. So now, yeah, you go and please, you don't have to answer it perfectly. I know when I ask teachers to go and just look at something and submit something, everybody just goes, you know, and we want to be answer all the questions correctly. You don't have to, but do me a favor. You should see, once you open that assignment, in the bottom of the assignment, something that says turn in, just like students do, right? And remember, you went in as students. So give
I'm
me a...
not in yet. Can you just wait for a second?
Sure, sure. Yeah, no, I'm not rushing anybody. I just want to see what, I'm just tell you what you will see.
Alfonso,
Yeah.
I just wanted to add another thing. When you go into when you go into a GeoGebra document through Google Classroom, it will ask you to give GeoGebra access to all of your information. You have to do that.
A student.
Otherwise, you can't turn it in. Yeah, as a student. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, you when you're getting asked these questions, do say yes, thank you. I knew I was missing something. That's why I asked you. Okay, so I know you're working doing math, and I hate to interrupt people when they're working and doing math, but I just want to show you what has happened. Okay, so this is the class. If you can come back to my screen, and I can look at what has happened. I go to classwork as a teacher, and here's the assignment. So this is the assignment that I just gave you, just like you would do normally, right? When you go into Google Classroom. This tells me 2 people have turned it in, 9 have it assigned. So I'm going to go see who turned it in, Adam and Carolyn, and I can see that they're turned. Oh, now Anne came in, turned it in. So I'm going to look at Adam's what he did. So all I have to do here is open it, and then it has the answers that Adam put in. Right there in the applet. So it's fantastic. So here it is. Look at him. Oh man, did he ever nail it, right? And so he's telling us what's happening. He played with it, and he submitted it, right? And this is actually a very nice little activity if you're teaching 1P, 2P, right? So I can see everything that Adam did. He played with it. It was interactive. It was hopefully fun for him, and it's amazing. I can see what happened. So if you, from the point of view of the students, all you had to do was what you usually do, which is go to your Google Classroom, go to this assignment, activate it, play with it, answer it, And of course, now you can give the students feedback, right? Like you normally do. So if I wanted to, I believe I can do it here. Oh, no, not that. Here, let me see, Adam. Here, I can return it to him. I can make some comments, I think. Depends on how I set it up, right? I can set it up so I can add more questions or whatever.
Okay, so in order to get, when you look at the applets, a lot of them don't have questions embedded, or they don't have spots for the students to put text into the applet when they answer questions. In order to do that, you have to go in to edit the applet, and then you can add elements. So you can add text boxes, you can add question boxes. If we wanted to, when you add a question, you can actually put a spot where you put the answer in, and students can check their answer as they work through the activity, so they can get feedback right away as they're doing it. So there's lots of different things that you can do with that, and I'm not sure if we have time to get into that and how to do it.
I'll just show you very, very quickly. Is everybody seeing still my screen? That's a good point. We don't want to, again, overwhelm you. We don't want to get overly technical, but that's a great point. What if you just have the applet and there's nothing else? This one is already, we identify it, we already made questions, but let's say you just find this by itself and you want to add something. Once you found it here, again, your snowman is our best friend, and I can edit the activity. I typically, at first, they will ask you to copy if it's not yours. And if you notice here, it says Alfonso Garcia, Tim Brzezinski. It should be in the reverse order. Tim created it. I went and edited and added the questions. But he's credited because he's the original creator, which is very rightful. So I'm going to edit this activity. Yeah. And what that does, it brings me to the activity. And then here, I can go in each of these items. So think about it like this. We have a series of items, of objects that make this activity. This is an applet, yeah? And I can edit this applet here. So I can edit any of these specific items. I would advise you, if you're not sure how this works, I'm not going to touch the applet because it's already set up and I love it. I'm more interested in asking questions. So for example, here, I can edit this question here. Yeah. So when I go into edit, I can create a question that is an open question, a multiple choice. I can edit the question. I can do whatever I want. So I think I'm not going to do that because it's already done. I like it. So I can edit or delete or copy right here. And this goes down in my task, in my activity. So let's say at the bottom, I want to add one last question, okay? So I'm going to go here and say add element. And then here I have a number of options. I can add text, a GeoGebra applet. I can add a video, I can add an image, and this is right in the activity. I'm going to add a question, but look at all the possibilities that I have. So you could put a YouTube video, for example, and ask a question about it. Okay, so, and here, my question choices, if you see, are, I can do a multiple choice or an open response, which is kind of cool. So you know, I can ask, I can need a heading or not. I'm just going to say something like reflecting. And then the question is, I don't know, give me 2 ideas of what you discovered today in this activity, right? And this one, of course, is not a multiple choice, it's an open question, so I'm going to do that. In a multiple choice question, I could add answers right? And then I could identify which is the correct answer. So B is the correct answer as that, right? So it's self-checking. But in this case, you know, it's an open response question. I can actually insert some math if I want to. Yeah, we have a nice math editor for those of you who want to put very formal stuff. Or text. I can delete it. I can do whatever I want. So I'm going to make my question open question. I'm just happy with that. I don't need anything else. I'm going to say done. And now I have to save my activity, right? Because otherwise I haven't. So when I save and close and the activity is public, I don't care. Anybody can see it. It's really not mine. The changes are saved. So now when I come here, it would have this last question that I added. So it's really not that hard to add stuff. There's a question here, check your answer, because we already had this one done. And hopefully we'll have our question here at the bottom. There it is. Yep. So because it's open response, then the kids can do this. And then again, same way, if I wanted to add it to my class, I would just go here, share, blah, blah, blah. Amazing. Carolyn, is your connection a bit better?
It still says I'm unstable.
Oh, well, not. I hope not you. I know you're not unstable.
No, it says my internet connection is unstable. Did you
Okay.
want me to show something?
Well, I was just going to talk about the last bit, but maybe I'll just show it and then you talk about it.
Okay.
So here, if you're in the main GeoGebra page, actually, I'm going to do this. Go to groups, join groups, and enter this code. We'll see if I can make it a bit bigger. I don't know if I can. No, I didn't make it bigger. All right, so enter this code. I'm gonna make it bigger this way. PC332Q. Yeah. You know, Carolyn, would you mind putting the code in the chat? So if you're not sure how to go to the groups, take a look at my screen for a moment. You be in your main page of GeoGebra, and then you go to groups here. And then just here, enter the group code here the first time. And then after that, you just go to my groups. So if you enter the group code and then you join, it takes you there. And so, yay, already we have 5 members. So this is exciting. So do you want to finish this, Carolyn, or I'm just, you're muted. I saw you lip sync something.
You go ahead, Alfonso, because it's still kind of like your voice is cutting in and out when I'm listening as well.
All right, so here it is. So here's the group, and this group is for anybody in the Durham District School Board. So pass it on. So here, this is the resources I show you. So you can just come in. If you find something you like, that is not here, it's going to be, this is just incredible, the amount of work there's here. But let's say you went and found something you like. Okay, I'm going to come somewhere here. And then I'm going to find another activity that I liked. I
don't think that one's in, Alfonso, so if you want to add that one, you could.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So let's see here. I'm going to go resources. I'm going to go to geometry. I'm going to go to let's see, I don't know. solids. Solids has very cool stuff. And I have all kinds of things about here. So let's say cone. I'm interested in looking at stuff that relates to the cone. Okay, oh my, look at all these. The net of a cone, that would be kind of cool. So I'm gonna look at this. This comes from their 3D app, by the way, which, oh my goodness, is just to die for. So there's a cone here, and look at it. Ooh, the net's opening up. Ain't that cool? By the way, this is easily done, not easily, not that hard to do in the GeoGebra 3D. So this comes from somebody in Hong Kong. Good on him. So what we're gonna do here is, if we like it, let's say we wanted to make a little activity with this, okay? Let's pretend. First, I have to copy it. Yeah, it's not mine, it's Anthony or, I'm gonna copy it. Yeah, so there it is. It says copy of a net of a cone. Cool. So now, guess what? I can add elements. So now I can come here and add an element. I'm going to add a question. And then something, I don't know. Okay. For example, yeah, which could be a kind of a nice question after they explore that. And then might be more specific, tell me about the radius, the height, or whatever I want to do, or I can ask a multiple choice question, whatever. So I'm done, and I'm gonna save this, right? I can make the visibility public, but I'm gonna first save it. There it is. Actually, it's now in my activities. I'm gonna go back to my homepage, to my profile or resources. Sometimes you can find it in mine. I'm gonna go this way, mine. Hey, there it is. Yeah, copy of net activity. I can go to my 3 little men people, edit it, publish it, copy it again. So I'm going to, I'm just gonna open it. I'm not sure, I'm gonna publish it because I'm not sure I had published it to make it public. But I think by publishing it now, it will be blah, 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 select categories, language. I can go maybe, I'm gonna say a practice, or yeah, let's do that and publish it, okay? And then, so then now it's public. And then when I come to it, then, hey, look at it, my name is there next to Anthony, who did all the work. So now I'm just gonna do the same thing I did before. I'll come here, share it to my Google Classroom. Yeah, same stuff. I'm gonna put it in that class because I'm putting everything there. And then I, copy, I'm just gonna put net of a cone. I don't want to see that it's a copy. And then I would say play with this applet. And answer the question. Yeah. Okay. So then I would assign it, and just like we did before, off it went to the Google Classroom. It might take a little bit, but there it is. Yeah. And then when I go here, it takes me to the Google Classroom, takes me where the assignment is. If I want to edit it now, I think I can do that as well. Here, yeah. Yeah, so if I want to add more stuff, if I want to put more questions or whatever, but it's there.
Alfonso?
Oui.
Can you go back to that activity And then just show how to drop it into the group in case they're interested in putting it.
Oh, silly me. Thank you, Carolyn. You're
yeah,
the
no problem.
best. Sorry, I got sidetracked, eh? Thank you. Yeah, I was going to show you how to drop it into the group. Well, okay, so let's go back here. Sorry about that. What a dork. Okay, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to pick one activity. Let's say this one, unit circle investigation. I'm going to open it. These, of course, very little stuff is purely mine. I find stuff and I adapt it, but that's fine. So here, share to existing group. Yeah. So I'm going to go, or new group, I can create a group on the fly, but I'm going to add it to the group that we already have. And these are all my groups. So I'm going to put it, share it with us, and it's going to take a moment. And there it is. Very important. Once I shared it, I have to post it. If I don't post it, it's not added. Don't be confused by this, because sometimes when you see add resource, you think that's what you have to do to put it. These would take you to add more stuff, but really you don't want to do that. All you want to do is post it. Poof. That's it. So now when everybody goes to see, the only thing is the posts come just like a Google Classroom feed that go one after the other. But you can also access it here in resources. All the posts, there you go. These are all the resources we posted. Yeah. So you are hereby invited to this community. Feel free to come. If you find something, share it, post it here, please, because we're collaborating with everybody.